Hey there everyone, Mrs. Rancourt here. So for this activity, you're not going to want to start this until you've read the vignette called The Monkey Garden. And when you complete this activity, my suggestion to you is have the monkey garden up at the same time that you have the handout in front of you. Remember, you are not required to print these handouts out. I know that many of us don't have a printer at home, including myself. What you can do is take notes and answer the questions on a separate sheet of paper, and then you can turn that paper in as the assignment. So what you're going to be doing in this activity is you're going to be comparing and contrasting the monkey garden from the house on Mango Street with the popular story called the Garden of Eden from the Bible. So if we look at the handout, it says that the Bible is one of the most widely read texts in the world. It is an important religious text for many religions, and the first part, which is called the Old Testament, is shared by those who practice Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Consequently, even if you are not a believer in one of these religions, knowing and understanding the most popular stories from the Bible will help you comprehend references to them that appear in your reading and listening. So remember, there's a term for this. We talked about it earlier on in the year. It's called an allusion. Allusion. Not to be confused with magic, which is illusion. So when we're talking about an allusion, it's when a writer makes a reference to something that is well known or popular, including a different story or a different book, like the Bible. You have probably noticed in the house on Mango Street that it does in fact have references to Christianity. We see some of them appear in many of the vignettes, including chanclas, which did include a baptism, I believe. You see it in the rice sandwich at the Christian school with nuns as teachers. You also see it in the chapter Elenita Cards, Palm, and Water, where she talks about her religion and her beliefs. There is an extremely strong connection, though, in this particular vignette called the Monkey Garden, specifically with the Garden of Eden, which is one of the first stories told in the Old Testament. So what I would like for you to do is you're going to read through this passage from the Garden of Eden. It is summarized for you. It is not the full story. And what I want you to do is identify any parts where it reminds you of the monkey garden. And how I want you to do this is I want you to draw a star, and I want you to explain how those two things are connected. And I'm going to show you an example of that. If you do not use this particular handout, if you don't print it or you don't write on it, what you can do is instead, you can write the examples down on your sheet of paper. For the sake of this lesson, I want you to come up with 10 different examples. Okay, let me write that for you. I want you to find 10 different examples. Okay? So let's first do one together. So in the first paragraph of the story, it says, God created man from the dust of the ground, and he breathed life into the man. God planted a garden east from Eden, and he put the man there. So right away we see a connection here. The fact that there is a garden that is planted east from Eden, we can make a connection that there is a garden that is planted here on the house on Mango Street. So the way I would show this connection is two different ways. You can either write directly on this handout, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a Word document and I'm going to keep track of the similarities in a Word document. I'm going to take this evidence here from the story. And it was then that we took over the garden we had been afraid to go into. So this is reference to the garden that exists in the neighborhood. I'm going to take that quote. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put it in my chart right here. Now I'm going to go to the Garden of Eden and I'm going to look for a comparison to this quote in the monkey garden. Take this quote right here. God planted a garden east from Eden and he put a man there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that into my chart. Okay, so here I'm showing a comparison here. The garden that existed on the house or on Mango Street for the kids to play in, and then the garden that did exist here east from Eden where man existed. I'm going to do one more to show you one more example. I'm going to take this quote here from the same paragraph that says, "In that area, he grew every beautiful tree, and he also put the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil in the middle of the garden with a river running through it." This imagery is reminding me of the way that the garden where the monkey used to live looks like. Now, I know it's not exactly the same, but I think it's close enough. So I'm going to take this quote, I'm going to put it in my chart. Taking this quote here, boom, now it's in my chart. So now I'm going to go back to the monkey garden story, and I'm going to find something that paints that same imagery. A lot of imagery here we can pull from that kind of shows the same beautiful garden. So I'm going to pull some of this imagery of sunflowers, the sweet, sweet smell from the peach trees, the hollyhocks that are thick and perfumey, and then this hibiscus tree down here that Eddie Vargas used to lay his head beneath and fall asleep. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add that quote here into my chart. So I would like you to do the same, and I would like you to find 10 different similarities here. And you're going to show the connection. So you can make a chart just like mine. I'll add this blank chart for you to our Google Drive if you want to use the same chart. Or you can write on top of this handout, just as long as you're also writing the quote from the story. You'll have to write the quote on the handout. Okay? Now, once you are finished showing the similarities, there are 7 different questions here that you're going to answer. As you answer them, I want you to use specific details from the monkey garden to support your response. Okay? Number 1. What are some similarities between the setting of the monkey garden and the Garden of Eden? Number 2. The serpent is the creature that begins the chain of events in the Garden of Eden. Who is the character in the monkey garden that changes the climate? So just like the snake changes the story in the Garden of Eden, there is a character in the monkey garden who changes the way that people view the garden. 3. The woman Eve and Sally are both tricked into creating trouble in their gardens. How are their objectives or goals for their choices different? Number 4. Adam and Eve have a moment when their innocence about their lives change. What is the realization that they come to, and what causes that realization? Number 5. Esperanza has a similar experience in the monkey garden when she no longer feels innocent. What causes this realization? And how do her feelings about the incident compare to Adam and Eve's feelings? Number 6. How does each garden story end? Do you see any similarities or major differences here? And number 7. Review the style of the summary of the Garden of Eden and the monkey garden. How are the styles different? Which do you prefer and why? By style, what they're talking about there is language, so the types of words that the authors are using, the way that the story is structured, and its formality, whether it's written in a formal way or an informal way. So which story do you prefer and why? If you have any questions about how to complete this assignment or you need some help, please join my office hours this week. Use the calendar posted to our EDSB page to see what days I'll be on Zoom to help you out. And you can always join our conference period and talk with me about what you think the answers are, and I can help you out. I hope you